Do we get characters like that in there? Is there fun and games like this? Absolutely. I've seen that and much worse. I've seen prison officers stabbed. I've seen people go out there and do this with knives and stab prison officers. Hi guys, my name's Stephen Gillen. We've got another massive film, iconic, timeless film for you today, The Green Mile. In part one, we looked at that amazing depiction, The Shawshank Redemption. How does that compare to this other fantastic film, The Green Mile? Stay tuned guys, we're going to go right in there, we're going to find out.
I'm not gonna have any trouble with you, big boy.
This is such a wonderful scene with these two. They've cast it so well, you know, and spun it, because what you've got are the two opposites of the mindsets of the kind of screws you get in there. One's an evil, sadistic pig. The other one, he's just trying to do his job, really. He's a nice guy. And then what you've got in the middle is this mad mountain. Of course, they're scared of him, really.
Percy, they're moving the house down in the infirmary. Why don't you go see if they could use some help?
They got all the men they need.
And he's the worst little shit, this guy. And, you know, I've got to be honest, I've seen this many times. It's the little man syndrome, or I don't know what it is. I come across many of these guys. I had a lot of violence with these guys, a lot of problems in strip cells and all that, up and down the country. And that was because you could just see by themselves they was nothing, but they really abused their power. I didn't class these guys as men.
You bust my finger. I wiped that grin off your shit-poked face, didn't I?
God damn it, Percy, get the hell off my block!
I let Harry take those chains off you. You gonna be nice?
Tom Hanks, masterful character acting here, but really when he's got into the role here, submerged himself into the role, there's always this dynamic down segregation units like this. This is death row, right? It's like the cages where I was. It's the same kind of dynamic. But really what they want to do most of them, they just want to keep a lid in it. They don't want no aggravation. They want a smooth running of that unit.
Questions?
Do you leave the light on after bedtime? Because I get a little scared in the dark sometimes.
And this is unbelievable, this as well. I love this because it's the paradox of it, and it throws them completely because of the size of him. Some of the liberties I've seen taken by guards with people just by what they thought or they was told or what they seen on a record or what they saw as a physical form are disgraceful. It's very like some of the wings, even I was on, even that's over the States, it really doesn't matter. This is your typical kind of layout for a, you know, a segregation unit. I was in the cages, for instance, with people like Charlie Bronson up there or other really tough segregation units. I would have 25 moves. A lot of them, they'd be scared of us when we was going there. Other ones, you'd go there, they'd be waiting for us. Question is, guys, do we get characters like that in there? Is there fun and games like this? Absolutely. I've seen that and much worse. I've seen prison officers stabbed. I've seen people go out there and do this with knives and stab prison officers. I've rolled about with these guys, been put into strip cells, a good 40, 50 plus with these guys. And I've seen this many times.
Where you go? Where you go?
You know, obviously they don't have guns. I mean, my experience is they don't have guns in the UK prisons, and even people who come there or are licensed for firearms, they have to leave them at the gate.
You warning me? You warning me? Well, come on! Yeah, big fuck. motherfucker. Where'd you come from?
There's a lot of use of the baton here, like the sticks. In the old days, definitely. I've had a baton used on me. They don't use them as much now. It's CNR that they use, control and restraints. So they come with the shields and stuff like that. They will use batons. They're licensed to use batons if they want to, certainly. And look, you know, I have to be honest with you guys. They've jumped me in my bed. They're running there in the bed when I'm in bed and giving me punches, kicks, all this kind of stuff. This is just to tell you the truth of it.
Yeah! Good shot, wasn't it? Look on your face.
Again, this kind of stuff here, you know, that's crazy, right? And you get crazy people like this in there. In many ways, they're mentally ill. They shouldn't even be in prison. They should be somewhere else. But they do things like this. And they do things like this because they're so tortured and they need to just respond and do something. Again, another scene here that's quite rare, but they'll come and they'll throw water, you know, on you, and you know they can do this stuff too.
On the day of my judgment, when I stand before God, and He asks me, why did I kill one of His true miracles? What am I going to say? That it was my job.
This is one of the most powerful scenes in the film because it's that juxtaposition. Tom Hanks displays it beautifully. Such a fine actor with such depth. But what he's really showing here is his own internal conflict. What you'll find with officers tasked with stuff like this, who are in groups, is they'll all have their position. You always find the sadistic ones who are there, the one, two of them, and they bounce off each other. Sometimes they can be more, and they really influence each other because there's a lot of violence in them places, a lot of tit for tat, and it goes back and forth. But my experience, thankfully, you always do get them few couple or really human beings in there. They're trying to do their work well, and really thankful for that because they balance what otherwise could be so much worse for people in this situation.
I'm tired, boss. Tired of being on the road, lonely as a sparrow in the rain.
For me, this is the most iconic line in the film. I'm tired, boss. I'm tired of being on the road in the rain. What an actor, you know. He plays such a wonderful part in this.
If a day, there's too much of it.
And again, what really pulls in audiences to this and into this narrative and makes it so plausible is the identification in a human way with the interaction and the emotion of the piece between these two in this darkness.
John Coffey, you have been condemned to die in the electric chair by a jury of your peers, sentence imposed by a judge in good standing in this state. Do you have anything to say before sentence is carried out?
I'm sorry for what I am.
I have to say with this scene here, he's depicted as innocent, right? You know, the premise is that he's innocent. And are there innocent people in prison? Absolutely. Have they gone through intense, terrible things for crimes that they haven't committed? Absolutely.
Don't put that thing up on my face. Don't put me in the dark. I was afraid of the dark.
And they've got a wonderful casting, the way the group interacts here with this film. Very impressive, I have to say. Of course, the war is a conductor for the electric gear. We've heard some unbelievable stories of these kind of things in different states in the States. This, of course, would never happen, guys, in any true depiction of this. It's very sterilized, it's very put together, it's very structured, it's very lawful in that way of the progression you know, of what happens here. Me, I'm against the death penalty, of course. There are other ways.
Is solitary confinement as lonely and humiliating as it's shown in the film?
Absolutely, it's very degrading. You know, it's very detrimental, you know, on your mental, physical, spiritual, emotional well-being. You're talking 23 hours a day in a cell, and science proves this is very unhealthy.
Whilst in prison, did you ever see anyone as big as John Coffey?
He's quite a guy, right? Massive, right? I certainly see, I know he's a very big guy, I certainly see a few that would come close to the size of John Coffey, yeah.
Percy is a cruel yet cowardly character. Did you find there to be any prison guards you knew that were similar to that?
Unfortunately, yeah, too many. These are the ones who stand behind the bigger guys, but they're the first ones to give the kick or the poke or slam the flap or mess around with your dinner or your mail or your visits. They're very weak individuals with an axe to grind that comes back from their insecurities or all kind of myriad of stuff. But there's a real nastiness to characters like this.
Whilst in prison, did you ever find yourself becoming friends with one or more of the guards like John Coffey does in this film?
Absolutely. I have to say 75% of guards, you know, they're just there to do their job right, look after their families, pay the bills. You know, they're human beings and they want to get on with things and they have a humanity. But there are a category, a selection, like I'm saying, 25%. Some of them, there are levels, but they're very nasty, and these are the ones who, you know, abuse their power and can do in a very nasty, terrible, weak way.
The death penalty was abolished in the UK in 1969. You mentioned being against the death penalty. Can you give us reasons for that?
I think that no innocent person should be at risk of losing their life is the first thing, you know, and we know that that's happened. And death is final, we know that. But we have the capacity now, you know, where we are with the world, to understand that there are other ways, you know, and there must be other ways to develop people, you know, to give them a chance to do better, be better. My experience, sadly, of the British penal system is not enough emphasis or time or resources is put or structured or shaped in the right way towards these initiatives or towards people's rehabilitation. The architects of the future who are creating these prison systems and structures, I would like to hope, come from a higher mind to make things better for society and all of us. We live in hope. An amazing film, guys. The Green Mile. Unbelievable acting. Tom Hanks, who really played the part again in this film, a real depth of emotion is what carries the viewers through this unbelievable narrative. So how do they match up the Shawshank Redemption, timeless classic, which we've done in episode 1, to another massive, iconic film, The Green Mile? I think they're different stories, but the same. The characters are the same, the narrative is the same, but what you're getting is two completely different descriptions of what it would be like to travel a journey like that. One is death row in the south of the USA. The other one is more like dispersal prisons over here that just has the general population of high security prisoners at the top of that hierarchy. I have no doubt that a unit like the Green Mile would be somewhere housed in the prison like the Hole, in the same prison of Shawshank Redemption. Shawshank Redemption is a different film because I love the way the characters are moved around and spun in a more generalized view that gives the audience more of a scope to understand the transition of these characters that they make as they go inside and outside, and the feelings they have and the challenges and what they have to navigate to survive within a natural environment like that. On the other hand, The Green Mile is a lot more dark. This is Death Row, and it's a wonderful description of the staff, especially in there, and how they respond to prisoners and how they have to execute their duties, and what a dynamic of the staff would actually be like in their treatment of prisoners. Which do I think is the better film? I think they're both timeless, guys, in their own way, and I think they both give a lot and come from different approaches to show what it's really like to travel a journey like that. How much do I give The Shawshank Redemption? Gotta say, it's one of my favorites, a good 9. For authenticity, cinematography, execution of the narrative. How much do I give The Green Mile? It's very close, guys, too, but I'm gonna give that an 8 because it's more focused towards a more smaller aspect of a much wider issue. Listen, guys, thank you for all your support, all the wonderful views we're getting. I'm Stephen Gillen. Our aim is to really entertain you, to really go behind the curtain and give you the real stuff. We're gonna keep doing it, right? You wanna know more about me and my brand? You know, I've got some books, some other stuff going down there. There's loads of other free content, and look out for more timeless classics. And let us know if you want me to deep dive on something special just for you. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care as always. God bless, and be lucky.